Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on utilizing Sketchbook for presentations. I'm Alyssa Jairus and I'm part of the technical team in Baker Baines. I'm a build specialist in the AEC build space. Okay, so who is Baker Baines? If you don't know, we're one of the largest gold partners of Autodesk, and we specialize in a few of these services like CAD Learning, which is an online learning portal, and Adobe and Civil Site Design. We also do have an Autodesk authorized training center in our offices to do training here in our offices. All right, so we believe in designing a better world and delivering a better product or project for our clients and for technological adoption to produce better results. Right, so let's just go through some of the agenda that we have for today. All right, so if you don't know, well, a lot of people don't know what Sketchbook is, so we'll just briefly go through what it is, what it does, its functionality, and where it kind of fits in with regard to the architectural workflow. Although it isn't a specifically architectural program, it is kind of a design program, but it does help you within the architectural workflow. We're also going to look at what is Sketchbook's interoperability with regard to other applications and kind of other devices that you could possibly use this on. All right, and then we're going to go through the interface, the basic interface of Sketchbook, what are the artistic tools that you can use, and kind of setting out the preferences. And then we're gonna do a couple of these things. We're gonna use Sketchbook to produce a sketch from scratch. Then we're going to kind of use a hand-drawn sketch that's been scanned in to kind of improve or enhance it. Or we're also going to do the last one, which is basically get an image from Revit that's been exported out and just enhance that drawing for kind of presentation work. All right. So if you like presentation work with a little bit of artistic kind of hand-drawn feel, a look and feel to it, this application would be, I think, perfect for you. So it's basically, you know, a designer's application with regard to images and sketches. Here are a few of these that were drawn in a Sketchbook, and basically where it fits in with the architectural workflow is you would use this application to do more conceptual sketches initially, but I also would love to put it in with also presentation work if clients wants to see kind of your basic kind of buildings or whatever it may be you're designing before it's actually rendered or modeled up. So I think it would fit in the kind of design and design development conceptual stages of the architectural workflow. And with regards to, so to the third point here, and with regards to the kind of devices that you can use Sketchbook on, is you can use it on your laptop, your PC. I've had the chance of using it on an iPad with a, if you look there, you have a little pen that you can draw on, and that I think is kind of the best way to use it because you have more control over what you're actually doing as compared to a mouse. So that was pretty cool, but you also get a chance to use it on your mobile phone as well. And if you have a stylus, I mean, that's more than enough. Obviously, the tools are not as complex in your mobile app as compared to your kind of PC version. So it's pretty flexible with regard to what devices you can use it on. So I think that's pretty cool. You know, you might be kind of on vacation, have your iPad, you can do a little sketch of a concept sketch of anything that you need to or have in mind. So I'm just going to switch my screen to my application. Okay, perfect. All right, so I have my software open right now. I have Sketchbook for Enterprise. It is a free application right now. It's something that Autodesk just recently changed to for everyone to kind of have it readily available, and you don't have to actually pay for it. So I think that's a plus in my books, especially for guys that are looking for something to kind of design with. I think that's great. So I'll give you a little website where you could possibly download this application or other applications a little later. But we can just quickly go through what you see here. So it kind of looks like paint. It kind of looks like paint. It's just paint kind of on steroids. It's got a little bit of functionality of a little bit of like Photoshop with regard to the layering, but it also has a extensive tool palette or artistic tool palette, which I think just absolutely sold this application to me, and that's why I needed to do a webinar on it. So let's quickly go through this. I just want to speak about the interoperability between kind of this and any other application. So if I just go to File, and right now I have a new canvas on. So if I go to File and I'm going to say Save As, just want to show you what kind of file formats we can save as. Majority of like image kind files. So, but they do have an option to kind of take this into Photoshop, which I think is pretty helpful. And obviously, any kind of application always, well, majority of applications allow for you to import images. So if you want to add this to your Revit or Inventor for that case, I've even seen workflows of images into Inventor where it can be the image can be extruded as per whatever you have drawn. So it kind of does work with other applications, and you can choose any of these file formats regarding what you actually need this for. So I'm just going to close this up. All right, so let's just quickly go through the basic interface of this. I'm just going to start with the little wheel at the bottom here. So it's called a lagoon, and this basically is almost like a shortcut wheel that you can kind of click on and hold on any of these icons, and it's just going to open up a little kind of quick access icon menu that you see there. These icons can also be found on this toolbar, or even this palette and the color palette that you see on the right. Example, the brushes, quick access brushes that maybe you recently you're using a lot, and so on and so forth. Something important that maybe you'd want to know is the little button on the top here. You can just move your wheel around to wherever you need to. I'm just going to keep mine there because it's going to go and push itself behind something if I move it. Other things are like the undo button. We all need an undo button in case we mess up. And then you have like switching off and on these little palettes inside, which you can also do from up here. But you'll see often a lot of these tools are repeating itself in here and as well as in here. And this up here is the toolbar. Basically just has a lot of your drawing aids and other little shortcut stuff like your layers and your brush palettes. Okay, you can see it's the same kind of options that we have in there. And your kind of crop and your usual crop tools. But I'll talk more about these tools that I know that you probably would, want to use. I'm gonna jump back to the little brush palette that you see on the left here. You can see that there's a whole bunch in here, but this is not the only kind of brushes that we have right now. This is kind of like a summarized version, the kind of go-to. And if you hover your cursor over, it'll just tell you what each tool is. Okay, it's so extensive that it's even gotten like a soft eraser and a hard eraser, depending on, you know, how hard you want to kind of remove your kind of ink or color that you've placed on. And I'm just going to click on these two buttons. It's important to have them open. I had them closed just now just to give us a little bit of an open space in our drawing file. But basically, if we can just move your attention to this little menu. So that basic menu is what you're seeing in there. It's just a basic tools. But if you just scroll down these, you'll see how extensive this is. It even has like a little Copic brush library in here, and different brushes as per what you actually need. If you click on any of these, you can see what kind of brush stroke it looks like, and what it's going to look like when you paint it, and what size and what flow that actually looks like. We'll just scroll down through here. There's even traditional, so your pencils, your HB, or your kind of different, what do you call it, thicknesses of or size of your lead. And if I just scroll down a little bit more, a few tools, like smudge tools, and if anybody has painted, they would know, they would be familiar with these kind of tools. And basically, each tool has its functionality of what it is. Although it may look like there's a lot of brushes, each one gives a different characteristic, and I'll talk a little bit more on these. So let's just grab one in here. So I'm just going to use that as an example. So if I just click on this tool, you can see conceptual one. If I jump down to my brush properties, you can see what it looks like. You can even adjust the size of this depending on what you actually need it for and how opaque it looks. Okay, is it a light color or a dark color? So it's pretty user friendly. And if I've messed up all of these, and if I just want to bring it back to default, I can just reset my brush to what it was originally. Okay, so that just gives you a little idea of what it does. I'm just going to jump to another brush, this brush with a little white tip, or even the smudge brush. Okay, you'll see a difference in the background in here, and what that means is that this brush doesn't really add color. It kind of moves around color, or adds a white, or almost like an erase tool. So you just need to kind of click, and that's kind of the differences between that kind of brush or any other kind of tool in there. Right, so I'll leave you guys to kind of go through that on your own time. Let's just jump to the little color wheel here. All right, so everybody has used a color wheel. We know what this is all about. And there's two little pointers. One where you can choose the type of, what do you call it, like darkness if it's light, and one where you choose the color that you want. Okay, you even have the pick tool, which is color picker. If anybody has used a paint, you would know the color picker kind of tool there. And also have your general settings. If you're very into color, you can kind of change these red, green, and blue settings in here, or even choose one of these preset colors to use. Right, so that's pretty basic. I'm just going to make sure I have like a dark color selected. All right, so if you're going to do a kind of a sketch from scratch, and if you aren't too used to hand drawing, or you're not too good with perspective, or things like that, there's no stress. This kind of helps you a lot with getting things symmetrical, or kind of getting tools to aid you in drawing perspectives. I think this is great for like people in campus, or students in campus that struggle with kind of perspective. And I know it's a demand at campus to do hand-drawn sketches and things like that. You're usually in your second year, so maybe it's even a great tool to start off with. I'm just going to quickly choose a random little pen, open a pencil. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the perspective guides. You can see that little tool in there. All right. Okay, so if I drop that down, you can see there's 1-point mode, which if anybody knows kind of perspective, 1-point perspective, 2-point, and the kind of differences in there. So depending on what you want to draw, you would choose appropriately. So I'm just going to do my 1-point, and if I just move my cursor, you can see that there's a whole bunch of dotted lines, but if I move it, it's kind of sticking to the 1-point perspective kind of understanding of all lines kind of join at that central point. And this central point can be moved if you need to. So you'll just drag and kind of drop that. But basically, okay, I'll choose a tool and then I can start drawing whatever I need to draw. If it be a little room drawing, a little furniture piece, or whatever I need to draw. So let's kind of, I'm going to start drawing a little bit. So if I just hold my cursor and move in the direction that those kind of dashed lines are showing on my cursor, then it'll know how to draw my kind of perspective view. It's super simple, right? So drag, hold, drag, hold. And I'm just drawing with a pencil right now, so it's like a light gray, nothing crazy, but we basically can use this to add in more lines and sketch. So obviously I'm not going to draw a whole drawing right now. I have drawn something previously that we can kind of use, and I'll show you what it can kind of come out as. I just jump to my drawing. I'm just going to grab my stuff. All right, so I've done one here. Okay, very basic, nothing funky, not too crazy, but I used my perspective tool and I've kind of gotten these lines in, and then I use a little brush here and there to add some color into it, but that's totally up to you. So I'm just going to close this, just going to minimize it. All right, so you obviously can carry on using your different types of pens to go over lines that you maybe are sure of, and that'll help you kind of draw your image in. There are other things that could help you draw, like a ruler. I thought the ruler was quite interesting as well. All right, so it's another ruler tool, and what this does is that I can move this ruler along there. I can rotate this if I need to. So let's just rotate that there, and then I'll select a tool, and if I draw, you can see that even if I move my cursor way up there, it's drawing along that kind of ruler line. So it's quite nice. Another nice thing is a symmetry, which is basically if you've drawn something, let's take this little item for example. If you drew it on that end, we can click on the symmetry and kind of just have it going into both sides. So, often people have problems with symmetry. You can't draw one side the same as the other, especially if you're drawing faces or people, or even when it comes to building. If you have a lot of symmetrical things in your building, it's a bit difficult to kind of get the one end the same as the other. So these tools would be great to kind of do that. And you also get your general tools, example like your line tool, or so I'm just going to switch this off quickly. So your line tool and your usual kind of rectangle and so on, okay? That just gives you a little bit of a straighter line, but more flexibility of where you actually want that line drawn. Right, and thereafter when you're done with your drawing, you can basically add in a color, okay? I know a lot of people love using Copics in real life. There is a big extensive Copic library that you would find in here with different colors and so on. Sorry, I just want to get that back. All right, so it's worth checking those out. But let's go into adding an image. So say you've drawn a hand-drawn sketch. You could possibly even import that in here and then add some color into it. If you don't feel comfortable actually painting or kind of adding color by hand, you can always bring it in here, because you know that, you know, if you mess up, you always still have your hard copy. I just zoomed out a little. Okay, you can see the kind of end of the canvas. So this right now, when I open this file, is kind of standard like that. But if I just jump to edit and preferences, I could possibly change the canvas size under canvas in here. Okay, using those. Alternatively, I can change it under image and canvas size. Okay, so it's not kind of, this is what it is and it'll always be like that. You're allowed to kind of change it to what you require. Okay, but let's add in an image, a hand sketched image, and then we can add a little color to it and see what that kind of does for us. So I'm just gonna open. I don't want to save that. And I'm just gonna navigate to, let's just go into here. Okay, I've done one already there, but let's kind of open this up again. So let's click open. Right, what's really cool is that the canvas size is basically the image. Okay, this was hand drawn. So we can add color to this. Okay, so if I just scroll right down and choose a paintbrush of my preference, I'm going to choose that one. I kind of like that one. I'm going to change the size of my cursor if I need to. You can try it out, see what it looks like. Let's take out the line tool. Okay, that kind of looks appropriate. Okay, so what I can do is now I can color in some of the image. Okay, I can undo if I need to. I'm just adding a little bit of color, roughly, and I can use my smudge brush. I'll just scroll up, use my smudge brush, smudge that color together. You can see even parts of the image getting removed, which is quite interesting. So I'm just smudging some color here and there. It's really a chance to actually go wild and try anything that you feel like. Let's add a little bit more color. So let's go back to that paintbrush. That one. Okay, we can even go and add a little bit more color. Okay, add some color to this guy. If you need it to be darker, you can always do that. All right. And then we can maybe add in a little for the sky. You can even go and use our colorless tool. Okay, remember the image. Okay, and see what it kind of does. It doesn't add color. It kind of removes it. So let's kind of increase that size so we get more done. And I'm just holding my cursor and dragging the kind of tool around. And it's pretty easy. You can wow people with amazing artwork that looks completely hand-drawn and painted. All right, and I'm just gonna use something else different that we haven't tried. Maybe even this little texture tool. And I'm going to choose color in here and then add some color to that. All right, so it's pretty simple. I've done a little completed one in here. That's very rough, but the main thing is it looks kind of authentic. I think that's the kind of gist of it, is it looking authentic. But there's other ways to kind of implement these kind of things. If you want to kind of use an image out from, let's say, SketchUp or Revit or some other application, we can kind of do that as well. So I'm just going to open another image. So I'm going to open, I don't want to save, and then just to show you something in here. Okay, so we can open file types, kind of these file types in here, right? The kind of the same ones that we can save to. Okay, and I'm just opening this render from the Revit application that I've done. Okay, where I've just placed in the camera, taken a very basic shot. Okay, I'm going to show you another method of doing things other than using your artistic tools in here. You could also use, if anybody's used paint, you would know the little paint symbol in here, the little fill tool. Okay, you can fill with a gradient or a solid fill. All right, so I can choose a color in here. So let's kind of pick a color in here. Super simple. And because it's enclosed lines, as you know, if you've used paint, you'll know that this color is going to stay in there. So it'd be a really quick way to kind of add colors, maybe even great for interior designers, trying out different wall paints, or a quick way to do, instead of doing a render, a quick way of doing something would be maybe even adding these. Okay, so let's add in color on the floor, some color in there. Okay, again, so if our lines aren't properly enclosed, this is what's going to happen. So make sure that these are closed before adding it in. And if you have to enclose them in here, within this application, you can draw using your little line tools and draw a little line wherever it needs to be enclosed. All right. Okay, although I'm going a bit funky with the colors. Hope you guys get the basic idea of it. All right, so you can just save this, save as, and then change. I'll just change the name. And I can change file type and save that as. Okay, just going to change the quality, click OK. So it's fairly simple. If you guys download it and give it a go, it's very fun to work with. Especially if you explore all these tools, it's never-ending list of tools in here to go through. So it's good to go check it out. There's no better way than just trying everyone and using it for your advantage. There's no right or wrong for what you have to use for whatever you want to do, as long as it looks good at the end. I think that's the basic gist of it. Yep, so let's go back to my presentation. Right. I'm just going to summarize a few things. Okay, so we just basically went through what is Sketchbook, what is it used for. It's for designers, kind of anyone that's designing, so architectural, interior. I would even go as far as like furniture design, graphic designs, animators. We went through the basic interface of it. So just basically went through some of the tools in the toolbar. On the brush palette, which is the extensive list of tools that you can use in there, and the lagoon, which is a shortcut wheel that we use to kind of go to different options in there. And you even have a layering option that we didn't really go through just now, but it basically works with layers, so you can draw each item on a layer and switch off certain layers when you require it switched off. Very similar to your Photoshop or even your AutoCAD. Then we kind of use Sketchbook with a sketch from scratch, which is our conceptual sketch that we just went through what the perspective tool does and use that to kind of draw in an item. Then we went through how to enhance images or renders that have been done on Revit or other applications, or hand-drawn sketches that you have basically photocopied or scanned in and used as a little base for your artwork or your presentation. Lastly, which is something I want to show and go through with you guys, which I think is important not only for this application but for others, is where to kind of get Sketchbook. I'm going to show you where this is now. So I'm just going to jump back to my screen, and then, all right, perfect. Okay, so there's a lot of questions that used to come in asking us, you know, if you can't download a software from your Autodesk account, which is where you usually do that, but if you want to try out something that is not under your account, then we come to a site called Autodesk Virtual Agent. You can just type it in or take down this kind of URL here. And basically, you can ask a whole bunch of stuff. She can help with support, she can help with other issues that you may have, and also for downloads. So we're basically just talking to her. So I'll ask her for downloads. Let's hope I'm spelling that right. Downloads. Okay. So she's like, okay, what product is it and what version are you looking for? So I can browse. And we're looking for Sketchbook. But if there's some other application that you need, you can go and kind of find it in here. I'm looking for Sketchbook, so I can come in here. I can click on Sketchbook. And it's kind of going to tell me what version do I want. I'm actually not sure what's the latest version. I'm just going to go give it a shot here. Let's try 2018. I think 2019 is pushing it. Okay, so she's asked you, okay, do you have a license or are you a student? You can click on 30-day trial if you just want to try it out, but as far as I know right now, Sketchbook is free, so we're just going to click on that. Right, and it's probably going to download it for us. Right, but you can go through these and download this and kind of install it on your PC. Right, and if you want to start off, you can start over there. It's a little tool to help you find different software that you can't find on your Autodesk account. So I'm just going to switch my screen again. Cool. All right. So Sketchbook is free. It is completely free, so go ahead and download it and make full use of it. And thanks for joining us. If you do have any questions, please send them through now, and I'll try my best to answer all your questions, or you can send me an email if there's something specific that you would love to see in our webinars. Yeah, and thank you for joining us, and please join us again.